Hey everybody, thanks for watching our channel. I'm Chris, and I do a fantasy football podcast 5 days per week, which we'd love for you to listen to. And of course, if you like the channel here on YouTube, it's wonderful. If you subscribe, fantasy football is actually getting back into swing, and we are talking the top 7 wide receivers you should draft for fantasy in 2022. I don't think you're going to find a huge surprise at number 1. It is, in fact, the Rams' Cooper Kupp. It's pretty unthinkable considering most everyone was drafting Robert Woods ahead of Kupp last year on his own team. It maybe feels like a little bit of an overreaction to Kupp's crazy 2021 season in which he, let's face it, crushed the field, leading the NFL in targets, catches, receiving yards, and touchdowns. And Kupp did it while lining up at tight end a lot of the time. And I'd love to be a hipster and tell you not to believe your eyes. I guess I'm not personally of the opinion that Cooper Kupp is absolutely number 1, the most talented receiver in the league, but he's fast, he runs really good routes, and just about everybody else among wide receivers has a demerit, and Kupp really doesn't have any. He's a very, very good player in an awesome situation. He's a top 10 overall pick in every fantasy league this year, maybe outside of Superflex, and he's certainly a full top 5 pick if you're in a PPR league. Barring injury, Cooper Kupp should not let you down. At number 2, I've got Justin Jefferson, and listen, there are a ton of great players at receiver, but Jefferson might just be the very best when you combine straight line speed, point of the catch, leaping ability, route running that would make Jerry Rice stand up and take notice. Do I trust Kirk Cousins? No, I would rather have the quarterback who throws to just about any other receiver among my top 4 on this list. But I don't know. Cousins has been good enough to take advantage of how impossibly good Justin Jefferson has been. Jefferson is just a monster. He's 23 years old. He was second behind Kupp last year in receiving yards, over 100 receptions. He's my number 1 receiver in a dynasty league right now, and number 2 in just about all other wide receiver aspects. Hey, we're sponsored again this season by DraftKings. If you enjoy our videos and are interested in finding a place where you can maybe gamble a little on the games, I prefer DraftKings. It really does help when you use our promo code, and it's a great time to get started with a DraftKings account. New states are coming online all the time. It seems like we got Massachusetts, Ohio, Kansas, Maine, Nebraska all coming soon. If you do open an account on the DraftKings app and you use the code HarrisTube, they will give you a do-over on your first bet. Make a bet of up to $1,000 on anything, and if you don't win, DraftKings will give you a new bet of that same amount to make up for it. It's a pretty good promotion, pretty great sponsor. Download that DraftKings app, start an account with the code HarrisTube, and get a do-over on your first bet up to $1,000 only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Okay, so we started with Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson, 2 receivers who were not in this video last year. They were not in my top 7 for 2021. They are there this year. We're going to get to number 3, and he is a familiar name from previous seasons' videos. He is, in fact, the Buffalo Bills' Stefon Diggs. If watching Jefferson run around breaking people's ankles in a Vikings uniform is familiar to us, probably because Stefon Diggs was the one who did it in Minnesota up until a couple of years ago, and now he's brought that act to Josh Allen in Buffalo. 2 years with the Bills, 230 catches, 2,700 yards receiving, 18 touchdowns. Stefon Diggs is a smaller version of Justin Jefferson and maybe even a little quicker. If there's nitpicking on Diggs, it could be that defenses realize that if they double Diggs, that no other Bills receiver could really hurt them over the past couple of years, and Diggs wound up losing 24 catches and 310 yards from 2020. But I don't care. Diggs is an easy guy to love at the tail end of the first round if you pass up running back. Also easy to love, JaMarr Chase coming out of his rookie year. Another LSU superstar like Jefferson. Another guy who wasn't ranked nearly this high last season, but that's what happens when you go out and do 1,400 yards and 13 touchdowns as a rookie. Chase is attached to Joe Burrow. That's a very good thing. And the Bengals immediately seemed to understand what they had. Chase became their go-to weapon early last year. Now, like I said, you can pick nits over just about anyone on this list not named Cooper Kupp. In JaMarr Chase's case, in half his games last year, he caught 4 passes or fewer and only wound up with 81 catches on the entire year. He was slightly big play dependent. Mostly I don't mind that because we like big plays. And I think JaMarr Chase has the skills to continue to make them at a high clip. But there are other great weapons in Cincinnati. Joe Mixon, T. Higgins. And that can lead to spreading the wealth. JaMarr Chase is great, but if he's half a notch lower, it's because he might not make quite as many big plays, so the end numbers might look a little bit less than last year. If Davante Adams was still paired with Aaron Rodgers, guess where he'd be on this list? He'd probably be number 1 for me. I think he'd be ahead of Cooper Kupp. I know that's not the way those two finished last year, but Adams is simply the best X receiver in the game, the silkiest, most dangerous player at this position. But never let it be said that I count situation for nothing in the preseason. Going from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr is like going from a Lamborghini to a Honda Accord. Yeah, pretty good chance you're not going to go as fast, even though it might turn out to be pretty reliable. Hey, but Harris, didn't you know that Carr and Adams played 2 seasons together in college? Why no, internet person. Thank you for letting me know that. Adams carries risk. I think risk-averse drafters might not even put him in their top 5 at all and be willing to miss out on a great season until they know for sure that Derek Carr's a good enough player to boost a pass catcher to the very top of the league, their college experience together notwithstanding. I myself still have him in the top 5. I would take Davante Adams late first in a fantasy draft or early second. At number 6, hello, another new name. This makes 4 out of our first 6 names who are new to the top 7 this year. Deebo Samuel, he's really not the same kind of player as all 5 of the guys that I've put ahead of him. He had just 46 catches as an outside receiver in 2021. Stefon Diggs had 86. Deebo is a Swiss Army weapon, a slot receiver, part running back. I would never say he runs like actively bad routes. He's nimble, he's smart, but you'd have to say the Niners don't really ask him to be a technician. They know what they have. They don't have him run a super complicated route tree. Vast majority of what Deebo Samuel does is in cuts and wide receiver screens because they want the ball in his hands. He is basically a running back who has receiver feet, and he had 365 yards rushing last year out of the backfield. If you got to worry with Deebo, a lot of these tight windows over the middle might squeeze shut a little bit with Trey Lance throwing the ball instead of Jimmy Garoppolo. Lance needs to show that he can get the timing and accuracy down, but I would take the chance with Deebo. And number 7 in my standard list, but number 6 PPR, I've got another familiar face. Tyreek Hill, another guy who'd be a candidate to be the first receiver taken if he'd stayed put. But like Davante Adams, Tyreek Hill is changing teams. He's leaving Patrick Mahomes. He's going to Miami to catch passes from Tua Tagovailoa. And I don't think that dooms him or anything like that. But leaving Mahomes, well, that's a downgrade. What the Chiefs did with Hill in reaction to defenses playing zone against them in 2021 was turn him into a quicker release option. And that plays to the strength of how the Dolphins have tended to use their receivers. We think of Hill as this deep threat. Last year, he caught only 9 passes of 20-plus air yards all season. In 2020, he had 8 throws of 20-plus air yards that went for touchdowns. He had a heck of a lot more catches. Defenses caught on last year, and the Chiefs' offense adjusted. And that short catch, long run recipe is exactly how Miami succeeded in 2021 with their receivers. Jalen Waddle, that was sort of his formula. Again, it's scary when a player changes teams. Waddle is there. Will he maybe steal a little bit of work from Tyreek? Certainly things could go wrong, but I am definitely willing to believe in the talent and spend a second-round pick on Hill. So that's the top 7 receivers for this year. CeeDee Lamb, you didn't hear his name, and I know he has a lot of fans. He could finish higher than I have him, but I do have him 8th. Keenan Allen, very close. Mike Evans, very close for me, but there are a lot of very good receivers in the league that I haven't even mentioned. So here's what we want you to do. tell us down in the comments who we are missing out on. And of course, we would love it if you subscribe to the channel. We're going to have fun fantasy and NFL content all season. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button, write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.